All right, how about that?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
I see
works.
2 thumbs up from Carrie Ann. Thank you. Oh, perfect. I appreciate that, y'all. And I am happy to just dive right in. I am going to keep, oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Ileana, my fantastic moderator. I am going to just get started because we are a minute past, and there is so much incredible content to get through. You might see my eyes moving from one screen to another. That's because I've got my presentation on one screen, and then I'm going to be checking the chat over here. So if you see me bobbing back and forth, that's why. For most of you, I am probably a brand new face. You thought, oh, I'm going to be chatting with Google. I know my Google program manager. Who's this? I am actually a noogler, which at Google, that means a new Googler. And I am just joining the West Regional Program Manager team. So wanted to throw my bio slide in here. If this is your first time meeting me, hopefully I'm going to get to work with a lot of you. I'm a former classroom teacher. I was a tenured teacher in the Chicagoland area. I also worked for 3 years with CDW as an education strategist. And that means I was working closely with district leadership to help them with their technology plans, et cetera. And now I'm super happy to be over with Google. So the content that I have for you today, it is fresh off the press announcements that we just announced last month. And I'm going to be diving deep into all the product updates, really cool things. We heard your feedback, and I'm so excited to show you what some of the new features are going to be. So let's dive into it. Those of you who are well versed with accessibility in Chrome, I am so happy to say we just launched in partnership with an organization that's actually called the Academy for Certification of Vision Rehabilitation and Educational Professionals. We partnered with them to create a certificate program where now you can get certified via an 8-module training program on how to really maximize the benefits of Chromebook accessibility features. You see that there is a hyperlinked word that says learn more here. I am actually going to give everyone, and allow me to just go back a couple slides so I can grab the link. Here it is. I'm putting it right now into the chat for everyone, and I'll do that again at the end. But that will give you all the content I'm about to go through so you can touch those hyperlinks. So if you want to dig deeper into that accessibility certification and possibly take that 8-module course, you can do that by clicking that hyperlink here. And with that, let's dive right in with our updates on one of the most top requested features. Right when I came in and I heard about this, I thought, oh my gosh, finally. It is roster import. So starting this summer, US districts with Google Workspace for Education Plus are going to be able to automatically set up classes to keep rosters in sync with their student information system. And that's going to be powered by Clever. So IT admins are going to create classes via Clever. And if you're a teacher wondering, well, what does that mean for me? It means you no longer need to manually create classes and invite students to join them. So hopefully that's saving you some valuable prep time. And don't worry, this is not going to overwrite classes that teachers create individually. This is meant to hopefully help streamline some of this for you, and it is going to be going live at the end of the week. So very happy to see that. One thing I want to point out, if you're following along with the visuals, at the bottom, you're going to see a little bar come out for each slide. If it is green and says fundamentals, that means it's a free feature available to everybody. If you see Education Plus, that's formerly Enterprise. So if you're used to that language, translate it to Plus. Just keep an eye down here, folks, so that way you know which feature matches what edition. All right, finally, this is coming. It's the ability to schedule assignments across multiple classes. So you'll be able to schedule one assignment across multiple periods or classes, which hopefully saves you time. The rollout timeframe for this is later in the year. I would guess probably in the fall. Our product managers don't, and I'm learning this, they don't always commit to a specific release date, but I'm going to guess just from insider info I've heard probably later in the fall, and this is an education fundamentals, so that's for everyone. This is one that I heard a lot about. Yes, Rosalind's like, finally, woohoo! Agreed, agreed. We also have exciting updates to share about classroom add-ons. So if your district is an Education Plus district, or maybe they're using fundamentals with the teaching and learning upgrade, this is for you. So coming to beta later this year, I'm thinking most likely in the fall or winter. With classroom add-ons, we're actually partnering with 9 partners you can see on your screen. If you're just listening, it's Adobe Spark, iExcel, BookWidgets, Kahoot, CK12, Nearpod, Edpuzzle, Newsela, and Safari Montage. So what classroom add-ons are, when you're in Google Classroom, you're going to be able to select a tool from a drop-down, like let's say Kahoot. And the awesome part is students don't have to navigate in a separate tab to that site or do a separate login, because now those classroom add-ons are connected via single sign-on, which is great because they're going to be able to interact with that tool inside Google Classroom and submit assignments directly in Classroom too. So it will be a fully integrated experience. Something I think is very cool. And I want to show you kind of how these add-ons work. So let's take BookWidget here. So first, as the teacher, you go to create an assignment just like you're used to. You fill out the typical instructions, add some attachments, but this is where the add-on comes in. What you're going to do is select the add-ons button and open something like a book widget, find an assignment and assign it to the class. Now on the student side, they will see that assignment in the stream and click to view the instructions. And again, they're going to be able to do that all within Classroom. Notice they never have to leave Classroom, do a separate sign in. Once they finish their work, they're going to just simply click turn in, the little button that's right here. And on the teacher side, that means it's going to be ready to grade. And you're easily going to be able to just click a student name, see all the students' work inline the Classroom grader view, and then add a comment. You can return to the top and automatically pass the grade back to Classroom's gradebook. So just a really cool thing that's coming out. I was excited when I heard about it. I hope you are too. Okay, let me take us to the next slide. I told you it's so much good stuff. Sounds like my video feed is getting fuzzy. Apologies for that. Thank you for letting me know, Jason, but hopefully the good content's still showing okay. So in the next few months, we are releasing a dashboard to measure student engagement activity. And when this activity dashboard launches in the fall, teachers are going to easily be able to see when a student was less active. And that includes when did they last submit work, or when did they last participate in the class through comments. So essentially the dashboard is showing you what are your kids doing in Google Classroom. So see if someone completed an assignment, made a comment in the stream. You can see if they accessed a specific assignment that you posted. So you can really get an overview of either full class engagement or filter and sort for specific students. And it's really designed to make it, I would say, easier for teachers to get a pulse on just how your entire class is doing, or maybe identify students who need, let's say, a little extra support. Now, in August, we launched offline capabilities in the Classroom Android mobile app. So with offline mode, there's now a whole new world of possibilities where learning can keep going regardless of that connectivity. So students are going to be able to start their work in Classroom offline, review their assignments and attachments, write assignments in Google Docs, all without an internet connection. And then maybe when they're back on campus or they're at the library and they connect to 5G, LTE, or Wi-Fi, it'll sync back up into the cloud and it'll submit those assignments once they're back online. So this is using Classroom offline in the Android app, and you can see this is for everybody. It's in the Education Fundamentals. This is also for all folks using, it used to be formerly G Suite, now Google Workspace for Education. We're going to dig deeply into Meet because we're making powerful updates for how teachers can use it in a way that's easier, safer, more secure. So firstly, all co-teachers in a class will also automatically be co-hosts in Google Meet meetings. And only students who are listed in the classroom roster will be able to join the meet. So gone are the days where the first person to join is the organizer. Once you're in the meeting, as the owner or the teacher, you're also going to be able to upgrade individuals to moderators. Also, there's quite a few things here. Only students who are listed in the classroom roster will be able to join the meet. And students will have to sit in the meeting waiting room until a teacher has joined the meeting link and quick access is turned off. So that means guests who aren't on the classroom roster, let's say maybe you have a guest speaker, they're going to have to ask to join. We also call it knocking. So no unwanted participants are going to get into the class. And this is expected to roll out in the next month. You might have seen, if you've been in Google Meet recently, that we have a refresh user interface. So in order to make it easier for teachers to engage with their kids while they're presenting, what we have rolled out are features that allow you to see your presentation content and students at the same time. What we heard was that presenting in Google Meet was a challenge because you'd have half a screen that says you're presenting, not very helpful. And now when you're presenting, you can easily unpin your presentation to either see more of the students on the call, or you could choose a side-by-side view, see up to 36 people that you're presenting to. So now you can see your whole class when you're sharing your screen, and their names, it's the little things, guys, their names will now always be visible. So you can quickly see who's who. And we also updated the toggles at the bottom. We moved the hang up button all the way to the right rather than next to the mute button. So small incremental changes hopefully gives you a better experience. Multiple moderators. We also recently announced that Meet is going to soon support multiple hosts, which hopefully makes it easier for teachers to partner with other people helping manage a class. And if you create a Meet, you'll be able to add co-moderators within the meeting. So let's say I have a reoccurring calendar invite to the class, and I have a guest speaker. I can add them to the invite and give them those co-moderator privileges. And that is coming soon for everyone with Education Fundamentals. We have also improved hand raising. So students can participate now with even more confidence. Teachers can more easily see and hear who raised their hand because there's an improved hand raise icon, an improved sound. And I don't know about you guys, but it used to get confusing for me, absolutely, when I was in a meeting and we couldn't tell the order that hands were raised. Or maybe somebody got their question answered, but they didn't put their hand down. So the raised hand stayed up. Now, people who raise their hands are going to show up in the grid. There's going to be a persistent notification so you can easily see how many people raised their hands and in what order. And after someone has spoken, it's going to automatically lower their hand. So again, trying to make it more and more intuitive with your feedback. Multi-pinning. I would expect this feature to land before the end of September. So users, including students, are going to be able to pin multiple tiles that you want to focus on, like possibly a student, maybe they need an ASL translator. They can now pin that tile along with whatever content is being shared. I believe you can pin up to 10 tiles, which definitely gives a lot of choice in that sense. Okay, closed captions in additional languages. This is an Education Fundamentals feature. So now when your speaker is speaking in a different language, like let's say Spanish, you can change the closed captions to that language. So to be clear, it's not translating, but will instead accurately show the words that I'm speaking in the language that I'm using. And that's available right now in 5 languages. That's English, French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish. All right, this one is for my friends who their district is Education Plus, or they are using the Teaching and Learning Upgrade. So we're introducing additional features here, really trying to get engagement and inclusivity to that next level. The way it works is the presenter is speaking in one language, and you can see the captions translate into another language in real time. So it uses machine learning to detect and translate what the speaker is saying, and it translates it live. So this is expected to roll out later this fall or possibly early winter. And we expect this to be especially helpful in multilingual classrooms. So let's say maybe you have a Spanish immersion program. I worked with a district that had no Ojibwe immersion program, something like that. If it would be useful. I personally think multilingual classrooms, that's going to be major. Also, facilitating meetings between teachers and parents or guardians who might speak a different language. All right, next up is public live streaming. This is a big one for Education Plus or the Teaching and Learning Upgrade. Ever since we launched Google Meet, this is something that I heard from my clients even back in my CDW days. Folks were asking for public live streaming and the ability to live stream to folks outside of their domain. So this makes it easier to host school board meetings, school events, like a play, you know, things like that. And it's exciting for districts that really want to show public events, and you'll be able to stream through YouTube as well. We'll actually be launching a beta by the end of this year. And we expect that if the beta goes well, to roll it out in early 2022. And I'm gonna just, let's see, check the chat. Oh, good, Ashley, I'm glad you're excited about the updates to Google Meet. Love that. And then Debbie, let's see, student who need translation in Thai and she could get, wow. That is very cool. I agree with Dr. Dennis there. Very cool. So moving into safety announcements, we have extended additional meeting safety controls for hosts that might be using a tablet or a mobile device. So some of those are the ability to end meetings for everyone on the call, chat lock, mute all, and those are actually live now on iOS and coming to Android in a few months. And that is for everybody. It's an education fundamentals feature. Video lock, oh my gosh. Was chatting with a lot of my teacher friends, and this is something that we were talking about the need for. This feature available for all with fundamentals, it allows teachers to turn off everyone's video at once until you feel comfortable turning it back on. Maybe you want some heads down time and you want the students to do work or something off screen. Now you can do that. Give them a verbal warning when you're ready to turn it back on and you're good to go. So video lock. Breakout room safety improvements. So this is for those Education Plus and Teaching and Learning Upgrade districts. We did hear feedback that safety settings should be matching that's in the main room. So now when students are pushed into a breakout room, the safety features from the main room are going to match those in the breakout rooms, hopefully saving you time and anxiety. So little tweaks, right? We also heard that kids, surprise, surprise, were ignoring the message to come back. Can you believe that? So now after that 1-minute warning of breakout rooms are going to end, they're going to be forced back to the main room. This one is specifically for any IT admin that may be joining us today. We are launching new admin controls specifically for Google Meet. So starting this month, you can control which meetings users in your domain can join and who can join meetings created by users in your domain with new settings in the admin console. So this can help you create the right boundaries for different age students, facilitate bringing in external speakers, etc. One challenging point that we heard was allowing anonymous users in Meet, like let's say a parent or guardian outside of the district domain who didn't have a Gmail account. So now your admin can turn on anonymous users so teachers can send parents a link and they can join by typing their name in rather than signing in with a Google account. And it also includes the ability to turn quick access on or off as the default for all meetings in the domain. So that's if you're an administrator who is in the admin console. Now, in the coming months, admins are also going to be able to control quick access and chat lock at the group or the OU level in the admin console as well. So earlier this year, we also announced that admins with Education Standard and Education Plus, they would be able to end any meeting in their organization directly from what's called the investigation tool. So one thing that we had heard was that there had been rogue meetings that were caught. You might have students using an old Meet link. You may know TD. He was probably your Google program manager before me. And one story that he told me was about students that would get together using an old Meet link to play Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, that's not exactly what we want them doing with our Meet links. So now, old meetings that have been created in Google Calendar before quick access and before safety features, that's what students were joining. So the investigation tool is going to allow admins to find any meeting within their domain and end those meetings. Okay, I love this. This is one of the biggest announcements. It's called Smart Canvas. So Smart Canvas is not a product or a feature itself. Think of it as a new experience within those core tools you use every day. And it's meant to really enhance collaboration in apps like Docs, Sheets, Slides, by making them even more interactive and intelligent. So Smart Canvas is made up of a bunch of features that we're going to go through right now. The first is Smart Chips. This is going to allow you to pull in helpful information from other Google Workspace products while you're working in a document. So for example, if you're a student working on a group project, now you can quickly embed files from Drive without having to go search the file, get the link, and copy it back. Now you can just do it quickly within the doc, and you can tag other students or users in your group right in the document using the @ sign rather than needing to comment them in. Then once you tag somebody, you can actually hover over their name in the doc and you can quickly chat them, send them an email, or schedule a video call. We also recently added interactive checklists to Doc. I am definitely a list maker, love crossing items off, so this made me smile. It's meant to help you stay on track with whatever you're working on, and checklists are similar to bulleted lists, but if you're looking at the GIF, you can see once you mark an item, it'll show as completed with the strike through. So just a little thing, and that's for everybody. We're also introing table templates in Docs. I love this because they have topic voting templates, which lets you easily gather feedback directly in a doc. So you can actually do voting and you can use it. I think back when I was in the classroom, have your class vote on a topic or project ideas, really just keeping them engaged and involved in their learning that way and getting to use their voice in a new way. Now, later this year, Docs is going to offer something called writing tips. That's going to include warnings about possible offensive words and language and other stylistic suggestions. So you can see in the example, when we say offensive language, that could include inclusive language. And this is something that admins can actually easily turn off if they prefer not to have it in their domain. And that is for those Education Plus districts. Assisted analysis. I will be totally honest, out of every workspace product, when it comes to formulas and sheets, I have a tough time. So this is something that someone like me would really benefit from. Assisted analysis is going to provide suggestions to you of what you can do when you're in sheets, like formula suggestions to help you get greater insights with the data you're engaging with. Think grading, attendance, reporting. And it's not just for teachers, right? These suggestions can help guide students, maybe reinforce concepts to make their writing and analysis skills just more impactful. Okay, so this is actually live right now. If you are in a Google Doc, a Google Slides or Sheets, all you have to do now, if you're in a Google Meet and you want to share, is hit that blue button that's next to the share button, and you can present that file directly to the Meet. So that allows you to quickly present. You can see participants and content at the same time in the Meet tab. It's just a major, major time saver. I have been using this one now for a while. I love it. Now, later this year, we're going to take it a step further, and educators with Education Plus are going to be able to embed their live Meet video calls in their docs, sheets, and slides. I think the GIF does the best job of showing what that's going to look like. And it's going to make it even easier to see each other while we're collaborating together. To me, I just think classroom of the future. I love this one. Now, the individual features of Smart Canvas are obviously really cool on their own, but it's when you put them together that you really see how Smart Canvas is transforming collaboration. So what you're seeing right now is a snapshot of how a group of students might use Smart Canvas to be more effective when they collaborate. It looks like a group science fair project. So they're trying to show you here, they embedded a little smart chip of the doc. They have the people that are tagged in here instead of needing to do that in comments. So meant to just make it far more seamless. Okay, forms. Oof, use this one all the time. So in forms, we are actually simplifying the settings in the coming months to make it easier, faster for you to set up your forms in the way that you want. So for example, you're going to see a new settings tab at the top of your forms, and it's going to have key settings made more discoverable, like the option to make a form a quiz. It's also going to control default settings that get applied to all your forms and quizzes. Used to be a bit clunky. This is meant to be more education specific and streamlined. And to make your forms just more fun and personalized, we're launching more than 20 new fonts for you to choose from. So I think that was a long time coming. I've been burned out on the fonts, so happy about that. And earlier this year, we also announced that forms would soon start automatically saving your draft responses for 30 days or until your submission was complete. Thanks to anyone who gave that feedback during the beta, and this feature is starting to roll out next month. Should be available to everyone later this summer. Okay, additionally, we're announcing how we're really strengthening the security of all Workspace for Education customers with Drive security improvements, and we're adding additional advanced security for Education Plus and standard customers. So we have already built in protections that help block phishing, malware content that's shared from external organizations. Now we're adding an enhanced protection to the Drive, and that allows admins to enable this kind of protection within their organization's internal Drive to further defend against insider threats and accidental sharing of malware. So for example, this summer, we're launching something called Drive Resource Key, which is encryption on top of Drive file sharing. And we are suggesting that admins turn this on. So updates there on security, and available for standard and plus, You're now able to classify certain types of drive files by sensitivity. Think like an IEP. So you're able to set specific rules for different kinds of files if you're at that admin level. Now, new drive trust rules, that's going to give Education Standard and Education Plus admins more advanced controls around how files can be shared within and outside of their organization. So take an example, and I think that the gift does a nice job to kind of showing you what that means. So if an admin wants to allow, let's say, a subset of teachers to be able to share docs with anyone in the district, but only allow students to share files with people in their specific school, you can do that with the Drive Trust rules and labels. And all of these are rolling out in beta. Oh, that's my son, if you heard a little squeal. And it will be widely available later this year. So last year, we updated the devices page of the Google Admin Console to show when devices reach their AUE. This is again for my IT admins. We're now adding a new page in the Admin Console, and it's going to enable admins to view Chrome Insights reports. The first report will be a view of AUE dates of the device fleet, which hopefully is going to help you understand when and how many devices have reached or are going to reach their AUE dates. And these reports are going to help you prepare for when you should be thinking about purchasing new devices and how often. I love this one, just a little aside. So I taught first grade for a number of years, and this was something I really could have used. So students have the ability to now have a PIN and have numbers for their password. So anyone who tries to get like first graders to log onto a Chromebook at the first thing of the year, it takes a while. So knowing that they don't need to memorize a super long password and can do a simple number PIN, that is just huge. So very, very happy to see that coming in the next few months. And our last update, whew, here we go, guys. And then I'll be going back to the chat and seeing all of you to hear your questions. So if you use screen magnifiers or your students do, this one's for you. Chromebooks already come with 2 magnifiers that are built in. You've got a full screen magnifier and a docked magnifier. We just added a new panning method to the full screen magnifier. So in addition to, there's a current ability to pan the screen when your mouse hits the edge of the magnified viewport. Now you can keep the mouse centered on the screen and have the viewport pan as you move the mouse. So little accessibility update there for that screen magnifier. Whew, okay, gonna just take a little sip of water here, talking so fast. And I would love to take, I believe I get, what, 26 more minutes with you guys? I would love to check in, chat if you have questions, any feedback. Maybe there's a feature request that you've been thinking about. I am going to stop sharing, and I'm going to also give you all the link one more time in the chat to the deck, so that way you can have that. I'm adjusting my screen so I can see more people. All right, and this is just now an open floor. Please feel free to come off mute if you prefer to use the chat. Would love to hear what you're thinking. Aaron Miles, can you talk more about Smart Canvas? I can, and let me know if there's something in specific that you're noodling on right now about that Smart Canvas. So what they're really trying to do, oh, Aaron says, haven't heard about it yet. So what they're doing with Smart Canvas is they're adding additional ways that you can really connect with folks using either docs, slides, or sheets. So before, when you wanted someone to get their eyes on a document, you would do a comment, right? And you would put plus and put their email, and that's how it would notify them. Now you don't need to do it in a comment outside the doc. That can sometimes get a little crazy if you have a ton of comments. You can just now embed the person's name by putting the @ symbol, and you type their name and it'll put a little smart chip. And it's called a smart chip because it's interactive. If you hover over, click on it, you can immediately send them a chat, can send them an email, or you could schedule a Google Meet meeting with them. There's also the ability, I know whenever I'm working on a project, it's never just in one Google Doc. I have like 3 at minimum. But now instead of needing to open each one and find it and get the sharing link, I'm going to just be able to embed it as a simple smart chip and look it up right all within Google Docs. So that's just a little bit more about Smart Canvas for you. You are welcome, Erin. Happy to answer that. Okay, Rosalind threw one in. I'm going to read it aloud for anyone who might be listening to me like a podcast and walking around. It says, if we're a district where the roster import feature will be used, are teachers still able to add co-teachers who are not on the roster? So that one, and let me see, I have one of my Google colleagues. She was joining, I think, for the first half. I don't know if she's still on. Don't want to give you incorrect information. I'm still a bit of a newbie. So I am fairly certain, take this with a grain of salt, and you know what I'll do? I'll follow up with our moderator, Nancy. I got her email at the beginning of this. I'll send her that answer. Let me grab myself, where's my pen? I believe teachers are still able to manually input a co-teacher because I know that it's not going to mess with any of the classes that teachers create. But I will double check, and then let me read the second half. Also, does the teacher still have access to change the settings in Google Classroom for things like what student can comment? Yes, my understanding is that the teacher will still have access to change those settings. Okay, you are welcome, Rosalind. And let's see, we've got one from Steve. Greater customization of Google Classroom headers. So if all the info is on the uploaded header, I may not need the overlay. Someone brought that up. I was in a session for this yesterday. I heard that as a feature request. I actually block off time every day to submit feature requests because I'm sure you can imagine we get quite a few. I will be sure to input, Steve, that information, and I'm just jotting that down to capture it now. So Debbie asks, is there a link to the anticipated release dates? So again, our product team does not always give those to us. I kind of gave for each. I tried to give you guys the ballpark I knew for some of them where I had heard like, oh, maybe later in the fall or early winter. If you let me know, Debbie, if there's a specific one, I can quickly glance at my notes and see if I had jotted down any anticipated release date for that. Good questions, y'all. Any other thoughts? Oh, Debbie says, any Google Classroom ones? All right, let me go and check now. All right, Jason says, oh, better grade reporting tools. Yeah, and Jason, if you have something specific for what you're thinking for that, let me know. Because I want to make sure I'm specific as possible with the feedback that I give. And if you just say in general, that's fine too. Smart Canvas releases say depends on the feature. Can you elaborate? Yes. So the Smart Canvas, there are multiple features within that, like the ability to just share that one document to the Meet. That's one feature of Smart Canvas, and it's already out. Like I'm looking at my slide deck over here and I see the little button, but not everything is up and live yet. Debbie says, love when my grades transfer to our System Infinite campus. Yes, so easy. That makes me really happy to hear that. It should be easy. That's what I want. And if something's not, let me know because I am the amplifier of your voice. I will, believe me, I'll make sure this feedback gets back. And I am still scanning to see specific Google Classroom ones that Debbie was curious about. Okay, so Debbie, there were a couple Google Classroom ones I'm going to read off. So The first one was about the roster sync with Clever in Google Classroom. That's going live at the end of the week. That's the information I have. Scheduling assignments to multiple classes, that I'm going to guess is going to come probably in the fall because it is for later this year. I'm not sure, Debbie, if if your district is Education Fundamentals or Plus or Teaching and Learning Upgrade. If your district has Education Plus or the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, Classroom Add-ons is going to be coming, let me see, that one's going to be later this year. Okay. All right, someone asked about the smart chip feature and said, is that only going to work in docs? I believe the smart chip feature is meant to also work in slides and sheets, those core tools. Okay, is there anything for creating small groups and assigning to those students without having to select them manually? Good question, Jennifer. Love your name. Yes, that is something I can definitely submit because I have not heard about them doing anything for that, but I want to jot down exactly how you have it. And I did get just a couple private messages with feature requests too, and I'm just going to screenshot a couple of these in the chat just to make sure that I get that. So here we go, and snip. All right, I've got that for the person that messaged me. I will make sure to submit those. So Jennifer, I'm sorry I don't have an update right now about creating small groups without having to manually select. Good questions, folks. And feel free to, if you want to come off mute. I love being able to chat with people. I feel like I've been, talking into the void. So I hope that you guys are getting something good from this. Oh, it's not like on-site conferences, right? Let's see. I'm playing with the smart chip feature. It seems to only allow me to add something or someone in docs, but not in slides. That could be, I'm not sure if the product team is releasing it like they're going to do maybe docs and then slides and then sheets. That part I can't say. I don't know the order that they're releasing some of these. So that's interesting. It is showing up for you in docs, but not in slides yet. Okay, and I'm actually just going back into the presentation just to see if they say anything specific about smart chips, because I do believe it's for all three. Okay, don't mind me taking a look. So I have, give me just 1 second while I copy. Nancy Delgado is the person. I'm putting her email so that way don't want that to go to spam to you. I'm going to be emailing her answers to the questions that are coming through. So if you have future questions or requests like that, you can always, shoot that to her. She's going to get that over to me for this session in particular. I don't mean email Nancy all the time, right? But if there's something, let your IT admin know, because they'll be able to then connect with their Google Program Manager. We keep a nice cadence with our IT admin. So make sure you're communicating with that department, and they will make sure any feedback they're getting to the right people on the team. Okay. And oh my gosh, we love someone that knows how to find a help article. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for getting that for us. And he's got the YouTube video too. Yes, someone that proactively uses search. I love it. Other thoughts? This group is coming up with such good questions. Showing me how much more there is to learn, right? Nothing like being a newbie. It's like I was an 8th grader who now I'm a freshman, learning all the new things. And no worries, folks. If you don't have a question, that is a-okay. And again, even if there's just like something that you wish that Google would make possible, now is the time to share, right? I'm going to be doing a batch of feature requests after this. So if you're thinking of it and it's in your mind, let me know. Anything new with the Cami integrations and Google? Ooh, I haven't heard anything. Love Cami. Anyone who's not sure about that tool, it's a great way that you can mark up things like PDFs so that way students can annotate digitally. It's a fantastic, fantastic tool. Jason, I haven't heard anything about that. I can do, and I can see you're a master of Google search. So anything I try to search up, you'll probably find too. But I have no insider intel at this time. I'm not sure if Google is going to develop a similar tool, but I can note that down as something that folks would like to see a native Google tool for. So let me just jot down about Cami as well in my little notes. Okay, does Google Classroom and Google Meet work with whiteboard.fi? That is a good question, Dr. Grace. That is not, let's see, I agree, yes, to your cookies. I'm just going to that website right now. It's not something I'm familiar with, Dr. Grace, but I'm noting that down as an action item. This actually looks really cool. Look at you introducing me to new things. I love it. Let me jot that down. And I will email that to Nancy as well. Okay, and I'm going to, while I just wait, while folks are still ruminating on their questions, I'm going to do a little digging for some of these myself, but I am still keeping my eye on the chat. Okay, and when I do a Google search, Dr. Grace, I do see a few things coming up, but I will have to dig in this a little more closely. Okay. All right. Ryan has a question. Oh my gosh. I love that. This is somewhat random, but has Google considered adding an insert border feature to docs? That is actually a feature request that I have heard, which is why I'm smiling, because I just recently heard about this one. And this is why I love doing events like this. That would be so cool. I agree. I think of the newsletters I used to do. You know, you have the apples as the border, things like that. I love that idea. That is something I'm going to be sure to submit. And the more people that ask for it, the better. So I will be sure. I +1 that. You are welcome, Ryan. Okay, and Dr. Grace, my initial just sweep of Google search results to your question, I see, let's look. Someone asked the same question you did. There's a YouTube video. I have not watched it, so I cannot say if it's going to actually answer the question. Let me get the link. Oh, come on, just give me the share link. Okay, Dr. Grace, so I just put a YouTube link into the chat that is meant to give, it said that there was something about Google Classroom in there, but again, I did not vet. So maybe you can find someone to scan that and see if your answer's there. And I'll go back and I'll ask my workspace specialist and see if they find anything. I've got a few action items here, folks, and that's good. I like that. And I think we have about 9 minutes together. If anyone has any additional thoughts, I will stay here the full time. Silence doesn't bother me. When I taught 5th grade, yeah, this would happen. It's quiet. That's fine.